All right, guys, let's talk about the levels of phone calls, as phone calls are the most important thing in our shop because they bring in all the cars. So what we have is we have three levels. Level one is the most common call you're going to get, and I would say about 50% of your calls in the shop are going to be level one. So this is the one that I would master right out of the gate, and it's also the simplest one, and it's a very simple phone call. This customer only wants to come in to your shop. Can I come in? And honestly, it's going to be some variation of can I come in? It will be, can you guys look at my car today? Can you guys blank? Can you guys get me in, right? Can you guys fix my brakes? And the answer is super simple. It is always, absolutely, is now a good time, right? Is now good. And usually the customer will probably say, sure, or no, it's not. I can come in at 3 p.m. Great. You will always finish with the close, which the close is always going to be the same for every single phone call, whether it's level 1, level 2, or level 3, which is great. I will see you then. What's your name, right? So you're going to get their name. And do you know where we're located? And I put located here just because of space, but really it's just great. That's awesome. What's your name? What's your phone number, right? Phone number. Because we always want to get their name and number because A, then we know who they are so we can call them if they ghost you. It can get them in the system so that way you're aware of them. And also, it gives them a sense of commitment because they're like, oh, they have my name and number. They're professional. And then, of course, you want to ask them to make sure that they go to the right location and also that they know where you're actually located. And then you say, I'll see you at blank time and ask for, and that would be your name. Right? I would hope you would say that. That gives them that personal experience. So once again, a level 1 customer is super easy. It would go something like, hey, can you guys get me in for an oil change? I just got one of your coupons. It's going to be a very common call. Absolutely, I can get you in is now a good time. Actually, yes, it is. Great. Well, let me get your name. I can put this in the wrong order, but what's your name? My name is Zane. Great. What's your phone number, Zane? What's my phone number? Boom, boom, boom. You give me your phone number. Okay. Do you know where we're located? You guys are over on 17 in Rochester? Yes, we are. Great. Well, I'll see you in 15 minutes from now and ask for Zane when you get here. Thank you very much. And that's all there is to it. This phone call should not be more than 60 seconds, guys. 60 seconds for a level 1 call. And I'm going to give you a tip, which is probably going to be silly, but the hardest thing about a level 1 call, the hardest thing, I'm going to say this to you right now so that way you remember. The hardest thing about a level 1 call is not making it complicated. Because I'll say this and I'll say, just say yes. And you know what will happen? A lot of times people will take a level 1 call and they'll start asking the customer questions and make it into a level 2 call. Just think about that, right? You're making your life a lot more difficult than it needs to be. And you'll understand what I mean when you get it to a level 2 call. But pay attention. If a customer wants to come in, you freaking say yes and get that customer in the door. Say, absolutely, I'll get you in. Please do not ask them questions about their car. Please don't ask them questions about what's going on with their car. Just say, hey, great. What kind of vehicle is it? Boom, it's a Chevy Tahoe. Boom, we work on those. Okay, if they say it's a semi truck, which has never happened in my career, then you say, okay, we can't say yes to that. But 99.9999999% of the time it's not going to be a semi-truck, and you can just assume that we work on that car because it's called car fix, not semi-truck fix. So you should say absolutely is now a good time to bring it in instead of asking, well, what's wrong with your brakes? Have you had anyone look at it? Because that's what you do in a level 2 call. We'll get to that. Please don't do that with a level 1 call. I hope I made it clear because I went off on a rant there. So then the question then, of course, is what is a level 2 call? This one's really easy. The customer calls in and says, can I get a price? Surprise. Can I get a price? And you say, can I get a price on brakes? Guess what you say? Absolutely, I can give you a price. You can absolutely get a price, Mr. Customer. And then what do you answer a question with? If you remember from the first video, go back and look at that video. If you haven't watched it, it's important. That's the first thing. You ask a question. Ask, and you actually ask 5 questions minimum. And believe it or not, we actually have a script for that. We have a script called the Anytime script. You can refer to that. And right there in the middle, you have some of the questions. And the questions are, you always start with, the first question is, can I ask you some questions, right? Why is this question important, guys? Because it shows courtesy. It shows that you are actually listening to them, but what you're trying to do is you want to turn to reversal, is what I call that. You're actually taking control of the conversation, but you're asking for permission. It shows that you are a genuine gentleman or a gentle lady, and it gives you this authority to say, all right, well, I'd love to help you out. Can I ask you some questions? Very different from any experience you'll get in any other shop. And they'll say, usually, from my experience, yes. Remember, 95% of customer behavior is predictable. So, hey, can I get a price on brakes? Absolutely, you can get a price on brakes. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? Usually they say yes. So you say, well, and this is what you always go with, what's your name, first of all? Because you're trying to build that rapport. So you get their name. Right, that's question number one. First, again, question number one really is, can I ask you some questions? And then they say yes, you say your name. And then you say, what kind of vehicle is it? And if they've already told you, then you can roll into, well, what's going on, right? So you ask them what the problem is. And guys, I love sequences. If you do it in this order, it's most likely to succeed. Then you say how long it's been happening for. And then they'll tell you, and then you say, well, how many miles are on the car? And then you say, how long, has anybody worked on it before? Worked. Remember, like, when's the last time you had X service done? And that can go on, and what you're trying to do is you get them, the more questions you ask, you're doing many things, but one of the things you're doing is you're getting them further and further away from thinking about price and more about problem, more and more about the diagnosis, more and more about the fact that there's an actual issue and we're trying to solve the problem, not just throw numbers at them. That is a huge proponent of mastering the level 2 call. What you're also doing is you're taking control of the conversation. You're also doing is you're building rapport, and in my opinion, the fourth important thing, which you're also doing, is you are showing that you are an actual authority that cares about the customer's problem. You're developing authority, because when you go to the doctor and they keep asking you questions, you're actually handing over that authority of your problem to them. You are an expert according to the customer, and they're like, wow, this person is so thorough. They asked me all these questions, and now they're not even thinking about the price. They're thinking about how great you are and how you're so concerned about their problem. You guys get that? This is a huge part of a level 2 call, and you'll never have to give a price if you understand this, which is huge, because if you give a price, what are they doing? They're hanging up the phone and they're calling the next person, because whoever gives them the lowest price is going to be the one that the customer is going to go to. And ours will be the lowest price, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. So now, starting from the top, can I get a price? Absolutely. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? Okay, well, what's your name? What kind of vehicle? What kind of problem? How long has it been happening for? How many miles? And if anyone worked on this vehicle, has anyone done your brakes in the last month or the last year? And if the answer is no, then you roll right into what I call the close or the pre-close. Remember, this is the close. The close is always great. Come on in. Here's your phone number. The pre-close, and I'm going to actually take away from level 3 here, unfortunately. We'll come back to level 3. The pre-close is going to be, and this is so important after you've asked your questions, pre-close. And this is huge. This is what I call the slam dunk. What you're doing is you actually are setting yourself up by asking these questions. And the pre-close is going to be, has anyone looked at this vehicle? Looked. Or you could say diagnosed properly if you want to be more technical. But I like to look because it doesn't sound intimidating, at vehicle. And what I'm trying to imply is, has a professional shop looked at it? Has a technician looked at it? And Bobby, their cousin, does not count, which is why they're calling you. Remember, if the customer knew exactly what they were doing, which we talk about, the difference between a level 2 and a level 3 call is that a level 3 call has a confirmed diagnosis. And this question will differentiate a level 2 from a level 3. And remember, guys, you cannot ask these questions unless you've asked a minimum of 5 questions, because a lot of times I'll get guys asking this question, and they'll just say, can I ask you some questions? Okay, what's your name? Okay, what's an Impala? Well, has anyone looked at the car? And they'll skip it, and because they haven't done the whole due diligence, the customer still has price on their mind, and then they're going to say, has anyone looked at it? No, they haven't, but can you still give me a price? In order to avoid that scenario, you must ask the 5 questions. I can't emphasize this enough. And then you get right into it and you say, has anybody looked at the car? This will differentiate a level 2 from a level 3 call. And remember, guys, I did not say this, but about 40% of your calls are going to be level 2. That means a very few portion of your calls are level 3. But this is a 40% call. Has anyone looked at it? And the answer will be no, they have not. When the customer says no, that's when you roll into the anytime script, which is your slam dunk. Anytime, and this is actually in your script right here on the anytime script. And it says, well, anytime you have a brake problem, the best thing to do is to have a professional shop look at it. It is completely free. Boom. And it only takes about 15 minutes. Boom. And I can get you in right now. Boom. And those are your 3 closing points that you will score a slam dunk 100% of the time if you've asked the questions. And if you ask this question, has anyone looked at it? Because the customer is like, holy crap, I've been calling shops all day. They all charge to look at it. They all don't have availability, and they all are going to take 1 to 2 hours. And what are you going to do? You're going to not charge. You're only going to take 15 minutes, and you can get in right now, and you've shown concern. You're going to score a slam dunk 100% of the time. This is a proven way of getting a price conscious or a price asking customer. So again, the close is going to be, and I ran out of room here, but the close for the anytime script, I'm just going to put it right here. Right? The close for the anytime script is, anytime you have blank issue, you want to have a shop or a professional technician like ourselves look at it. And this is the 3 things you're going to have to say. Free, 15 minutes. It's absolutely free. It only takes 15 minutes, and I can get you in right now. Is now a good time to bring it in? And you say these 3 things, it is going to close your deal 100% of the time, because you cannot compete with free, because they're calling around, and guess what everyone else is giving them? A price on brakes, and it's never going to be free. So they're looking for the lowest price, and you're looking at, well, you haven't had the car diagnosed. I asked you all these questions, and what you did is you led the customer. Well, you've had all these problems. Anytime all this is happening, Mr. Customer, anytime you have blank going on, you bring it in, and it's absolutely free, and it takes 15 minutes. I get you in right now, and I'll give you an exact estimate when you're here, and that way it's a confirmed estimate rather than some number that a guy gave you on the phone. It shows that you're a professional. It is such a huge deal. I hope this makes sense. So once again, you can review this video. I know I went kind of fast, but this is just the basic 2 levels. If you can understand a level 1 and a level 2 call, you're going to be able to answer 90% of the call. And to be truthful with you, that is all I care about. A level 3 call, we can do a separate video on. But if you can understand level 1 and level 2, it is huge. So go back and review it. Level 2 is awesome. Can I get a price? Absolutely. Let me ask you a few questions. Well, what's going on? First of all, what's your name? What kind of vehicle is it? What kind of problem you're having? How long has it been happening for? How many miles are on the vehicle? Has anybody looked at the vehicle? No. Well, anytime you have brake problem going on, the best thing to do is to have a professional shop look at it. It is on the script. It is completely free and takes 15 minutes, and we can get it in right now. Is now a good time for you to bring it in? Yes, it is. Well, wonderful. Great. What's your name? Okay, great, Joe. And remember, you have their name, so you don't have to ask them twice because you've already known their name. You should be repeating it through the script. What's your phone number, Joe? Okay, Joe, my name is Zane. Do you know where we're located? Okay. Well, see you in 15 minutes and ask for Zane when you get here. And boom, you will absolutely close that. You didn't even have to go near a computer or look up their vehicle, because it does not matter. If you're looking up stuff on the computer, you are not following the script. You are going off the road. Look at the first video we talked about in phone scripts. This is huge, guys. If you can do this, you're going to double your car count. Thank you very much. We'll do a level 3 video here soon.